Hey guys, second video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about golden handcuffs. Um, Not literally like a handcuff that is made out of gold. It basically means that you are actually tied to your job. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? Say, for example, if you're making it about 80,000, 100,000, 120,000. Once you make that kind of money, then the tendency is you also upgrade your lifestyle too. So the moment you actually make about 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, for whatever the case may be, you tend to actually get the latest and greatest gadget. You tend to get like a nice vehicle. You tend to get a nice house, or you tend to rent a nice house. You have a little bit of money to actually spend toward that. If you actually combine all of those together, you kind of stretch yourself out. Now, when it comes to that, what are essentially like the signs, right? What are the signs that you are kind of tied up with your job and you're pretty much like stuck in there? So the first thing is kind of like what I mentioned earlier is high income. When you do have a high income, you don't have like a lot of flexibility, believe it or not. The only reason why is because of the amount of reoccurring expense that you have on a monthly basis kind of ties it up to the job that you're stuck with. And if you're, say, for example, making $120,000, then the next thing you know, if you are if you are tied up with the mortgage itself, where you're paying like anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 a month, then it becomes a necessity for you to actually need the job itself. So that's one of the things, right? So there's not a lot of wiggle room in order for you, or if you want to go out there, explore, and actually start over with another company, there is a bit of that hesitancy on your part. So that's one. Now, the second thing here is lifestyle inflation. Okay, so lifestyle inflation, when you upgrade your stuff, then the next thing you know, it matches like the job title itself. You see this all the time with the vehicles. Now, if you're making over $80,000, then the next thing you know, you really can't drive a Corolla with that 80,000. At least that's what the perception is. So the tendency is for you to actually go out there and spend money on a Beamer, on a Tesla, on a Mercedes, just to kind of match what you actually earn. And it's more of a perception based more than anything. So that is a handcuff, right? Now, the third thing, and again, this might be a good thing for some folks that are usually used to actually working in the corporate world. Some of them that do not have the entrepreneurial spirit, so to speak, they're happy with putting in the time at work, going home, being with the family. And those are the ones that do have like a pension that they have at their jobs, the 401k matching, stocks, health insurance, bonuses, a good amount of bonus, PTO, employee discounts, for whatever the case may be. It's something that really ties them up with the job itself. Usually, whenever you get to work with these companies, it is a blessing because they offer so many things. And the reason why they do that is for employee retention, to make sure that they're holding on to their talent for a very long time. So that is that is a good thing. Some companies, they don't really offer as much, but some of these companies as well, They don't really offer as much as like career advancements, but they also offer like other perks such as that, like the 401k, the pensions. Or although you don't really hear the pension being thrown out there all the time, I rarely see companies offer a pension. A lot of times it's more on the government side that offers pension for their employees. So if you are working in the government, then you are considered lucky for that matter. And that's pretty much it. Those are the ones that I could really think of right now as far as like, you being tied up with your job. Now, not everyone is an entrepreneur. Not everyone is an entrepreneur to where, like, in about a week from now, you can actually set up your own company as a side hustle to kind of get away with your 9 to 5. Not everyone is built for that. The key here really is if it really depends on what you actually want out of your career. If you have a goal of saving up money, investing, retire by the age of like 50 plus or 60 plus, then being stuck with your day job is not a bad thing at all. I think there are a lot of benefits out of it. And those are the ones that I mentioned like moments ago. Those are the ones that could be beneficial for you in order for you to actually stick around with the company in the long run. Now, if you are more on the entrepreneurial side to where like, you're kind of like tired of the 9 to 5 grind, then the only thing that I will say is if you are coming to that point of you getting tired of that lifestyle, then you really got to keep your expenses low. If you're going to explore entrepreneurship, you really got to keep your expenses low in order for you to have that elbow room to jump into other careers or other entrepreneurial ventures. And that is something to your leverage. So again, it really depends on your priority, and it really depends on your career goals. A lot of that will have something to do with your marital status, if you're single, if you're married or married with kids, and you just have to keep in mind and make wise decisions. And that's about it. That's my opinion about golden handcuffs. You hear that kind of all the time in the world of personal finance, but I just want to come up here and give my own version of what golden handcuffs is. Thank you guys so much and have a good day. Bye bye.